All right, guys, so we're going to be going over the fractal nature of the market. Now, this is going to be a very important video because you need to fully understand everything that I am about to say. Okay, so take out your notebook, and if you already have it, good, then take notes. Most importantly, listen to what I have to say because that's what's going to matter on this video is for you to listen to what I'm saying and obviously, just kind of copying down my examples. So what does fractal mean? So fractal can mean many things. Obviously, it depends on how you got introduced to it, shall I say. But we're talking, about the charts here. So fractal for us is going to mean that if on the 1 minute we have, let's say, structure, higher high, higher lows, right? And then on the daily, we have higher highs, higher lows. So what does this have to do with each other? All right, is that whatever happens in the 1 minute is going to happen in the daily, and whatever happens in the daily is going to happen in the 1 minute. Okay, stay with me. So that's what it means, right? So the same way with liquidity. Liquidity is fractal. So we have equal lows on the 1 minute time frame, and then we can have equal lows in the 1 hour time frame. Liquidity is fractal. Structure is fractal. Okay, so structure is fractal. All right, is fractal. Liquidity is fractal. Okay, ranges are fractal. Okay, and also Quasimodos are fractal. Quasimodos, which you're going to learn about this soon, are strong highs, strong lows, weak highs, weak lows. All right, but in short term, we're just going to call them Quasimodo. Is also fractal. Okay, so to sum this up, everything is an infinity sign. Everything is fractal in the market. Okay, so everything that happens on the lower happens on the higher, and the higher and the lower. So I hope you understand that so far. Okay, so let's get into structure real quick. So now this is not a structure video, but you need to understand the fractal nature of everything moving forward, because everything that I'm going to be talking about throughout this course, you got to keep in mind that it's fractal. Okay, so if on the 1 hour we have a strong low, right? And then like we can obviously see on the 1 hour, on 1 hour is obvious, it's right there, we see it. But then we see this on the 1 hour. There's no strong high present. There's no Quasimodo present. Again, QM Quasimodo means strong high, strong low, weak high, weak low. Okay, so you can just keep that in mind. We'll cover that in the future videos, but that's what it is. Just a short definition for all of this, right? There's no Quasimodo. I don't see it. But if we drop down, let's say to the 5 minute, we're going to see our strong high, our Quasimodo. Right there. And now that confirms our range from A to B. because to confirm a range, we need a Quasimodo on the bottom and one on the top, right? Again, don't worry too much about Quasimodos and ranges. We'll cover that later. Just want to, again, explain the fractal nature, right? So we don't see it on the 1, but we saw it on the 5. There's something that you're going to hear me talk about a lot, or not talk about, but say, is trade what you see and not what you think. Now, of course, common sense, we're going to think, logically think. But what I mean by think is don't think too hard. If you don't see it, don't take it. Don't trade it. Don't execute. Don't second guess. Don't guess. Okay? Write that down. Everything I'm saying here, write it down. It's very important. All right. So same with liquidity, right? If we have a strong low, you might just see something like this, let's say on the 1 hour. But in here, if we go down obviously to the, let's say 1 minute, obviously you're going to see highs and lows like this in here. The liquidity is also fractal. Okay. What you don't see on the 1, you will see on the lower time frame. What you don't see on the lower time frame, you will see on the higher time frame. That's why we switch between time frames. Between through all. Yeah, between through all time frames. Yeah. So I hope it's making sense so far. Right? Trying to explain this in the simplest way possible. Okay. So now let's hop into candles real quick. So if we see a 4-hour order block, okay, and then of course price coming into this, right? Obviously, in the smaller time frame, let's say 15-minute, it's going to look like this, multiple candles inside to create that order block, right? So what you don't see on the higher time frame, it will be on a smaller time frame. And what you don't see on a smaller time frame will be on the higher time frame. That's why we switch between time frames. Now, just want to put that out there now is that it's a skill set to switch between time frames. It's a skill set of its own. It's a skill of its own trying to see this stuff over and over again. It will take time to adjust and to adapt. I'm letting you know now. Okay. So when price is coming up, like it did here, when price is coming up like it did here, it tapped into the open of the 4-hour order block. Here on the 5-minute, the 15-minute, it will look like it tapped into this candle and then it dropped. But you wouldn't know why did it come into this and why didn't it come here, 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 until you go to the 4-hour, in this case, the 4-hour, the higher time frame, and notice that it tapped into a 4-hour order block, higher time frame order block, also known as a point of interest, right? Order blocks, breakers, all that is all simply a POI. It's the short term for it, right? So that's why it doesn't come to these levels up here. The market's fractal. So you got to switch between time frames. So before you ask me, what time frames do we use? We are going to use all of them. All the time frames that I'm going to mention. There is no set of time frames that we're going to use. Yes, there is, over 20 plus time frames, but we're going to use the most common ones. We got to work with what we have. Can you use all of them? Sure. But remember, that's a skill set of itself. Try to maneuver through the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all the work. So that's why we have standard timeframes. That's why we're going to use the standard timeframes or the most common ones. All right. So like I mentioned in the beginning, it's not going to be a very easy strategy to understand. But once you do, the reward is amazing, phenomenal. It's going to take time because this right here is pretty much the main foundation of a strategy. It's just understanding that everything is fractal. All right, liquidity, structure, ranges, Quasimodos, POIs, blocks, fractal, everything's fractal. All right, so I hope this made sense. It should have. If it doesn't, there will be examples down below this video. Explain it in a written version instead of video for those that like to read. You can find the written version underneath every video. So that's what fractal is. Take notes, rewatch this, understand this, because you got to keep this in mind as we're going throughout the course. Now, this is the basic course. So of course, a lot of things are going to be very basic, but things are going to get harder and harder as we advance to the intermediate and then to the advanced course. It's important to notice, keep it in your head as we're talking about every single topic. That's it for now. See you on the next one.